Hi, hello creatives, welcome back or to my channel. My name is Lindsay and today we are updating my reading journal, but I just wanted to show my face because I want to connect with you guys a little bit more. I've gained, a few subscribers in the last couple of months. I don't show my face very often and I think that it's time. I want to get more and more comfortable in front of the camera, and so this is a challenge for me, so let's do it. But I also wanted to show you a representation of how many books I read in the third quarter of 2024. It has been a reading couple of months. They're mostly audiobooks, aka all but two are audiobooks. I am still very proud where I'm at with my goal, which means I have accomplished my goal, my reading goal for 2024, so that's super exciting. But let me show you the representation of how many books I've read this quarter. Oh man, look at all of these books. These are not the books that I actually read because, like I mentioned, I read audiobooks, but I read 15 books. Isn't that insane? That's insane, considering my goal for the whole year was 24. Because this is also a reading journal update, I wanted to record this video in front of my bookshelf, as not only because this is a reading journal update, which makes the most sense to do it in front of my bookshelf, and it's the prettiest part of my house, but talking about pretty things, I was gifted these beautiful products that I'm currently wearing from a brand called Ana Luisa. I'm sure you heard of them, but if you have not, they're a sustainable jewelry brand based out of New York City. They focus on affordable luxury jewelry that you just get at unbeatable prices. They have such unique pieces, and I think that wearing these jewelry pieces, I feel like I'm much more confident. They're two stunning pieces that I'm currently wearing, this being the Laura Bold necklace, as well as the Ash Double two-tone earrings. Again, they pair so well together as they are a similar style and shape. These are not very large or super small. They're definitely a very elegant statement piece. I mean, the two-tone is also gorgeous because I know it's very popular right now to mix metals, and I love that look. So, these are stunning. I definitely feel super confident in these earrings, and I love the little tinkle tinkle that you hear in your ears when you're wearing them. I love them. Black Friday is the perfect time to shop with these exclusive discounts, and it's only available for a limited time. And trust me, you do not want to miss out on this sale. They have luxury pieces at unbeatable prices. I know that I have my eye on a few pieces, so I'm really looking forward to adding more to my collection. And I know they also have rings, and I'm a big ring fan, and I want a few statement pieces of rings, and I'm just really looking forward to the sale myself. Oh, and I wanted to mention that the more money you spend, the more you save. You want to act really fast because they're only on for a limited time, and they could sell out of your favorite piece because they do have only a low stock. So again, you want to act really fast. The holidays are coming up, and Ana Luisa products and jewelry make the best gift because they have that luxury feel without that luxury price. And you'll stick out if you gift one of these to your friends and family. And again, I definitely have my eye on a few pieces, but remember, you want to act fast because the deals are only on for a limited time and they sell out pretty quickly. You don't want to miss out on these discounts, so you want to check the link in the description box below, so again, that you don't miss out on having these stunning pieces on yourself, or gifting one of these stunning pieces to a friend or family member. But that's enough about Ana Luisa for right now. I just can't stop smiling because I just feel really confident. So I'm just really excited to, show these pretty things off, and to show my face because I don't show my face very often. And the more and more I'm talking, the more and more I'm getting comfortable. I've always been somebody that's been very shy in front of the camera, but not even just in front of the camera, just in front of a large group of people. Stage fright is real, and I have it like none other. But anyways, let's get to the main part of today's video, which is my reading journal update. This is going to be in two parts because there's 15 books to get through. However, I think there's 11 spreads that I do, but I think in this video you're only going to get 5 or 6. So let's go to my desk.
Now that we're at my desk, it's literally been days later.
like, I mean, days later, sicknesses later, I've, I actually lost my voice, which it's still kind of gone, but I wasn't sick or anything. And then all day today, I've had some sort of stomach bug and have kind of been out for the count all day. So there's been a lot of change from who recorded and did that intro video versus who you're getting right now is the voiceover. It's wild how something can just kind of take a turn and, you least expect it. But I guess this has to do with the fact of, I don't know, my son's still in kindergarten and we're just accepting all germs all the time. I don't really know, but anyways. So now that, you're getting voiceover Lindsay currently, I'm going to talk you through and just, yap at you while you see me putting together this is my third quarter reading journal stuff and like spreads and cover page and all that kind of fun stuff. And if you haven't seen any of my previous journal with me videos for my reading journal, I only put in book spreads in here of books that I rate 4 stars or higher. And I'm a very easygoing rater. I'm not too picky. If I've enjoyed the book, I've enjoyed the book, and simple as that. I'm not, because I always sucked at English in school, I'm not too particular with how something, like how the writing is, or honestly, even if there's plot holes, sometimes I notice it, but for the most part, I really don't even notice it. Sometimes something that kind of gets on my nerves sometimes are like a lot of time jumps. They kind of drive me nuts. But again, that's a personal preference. And of course, all ratings are personal preferences because, everyone, I think that you can also enjoy a book completely different depending on where you are in your life when you're reading said book. But anyway, so I'm doing my cover page right now that you see, and I say, wow, I put Q1. That's too funny. I'm just noticing that right now. I have to change that to Q3. I'll be able to fix that. I'll be able to go in and fix that, no problem. But it's not Q1, it's Q3. But yeah, so for July, August, and September, and because these are more of the summer months, I decided to do, colorful, bright colors. And again, I know I mentioned earlier that I had lost my voice earlier in the week, so I apologize that I sound kind of hoarsish still. But I wanted to get this video out there, so this is what you get, unfortunately. But yeah, so then I went through and printed a bunch of the book covers, and I kind of went through and did like a little bit of a tally over how many book covers I need for each book. And I kind of just go through the beginning collections of my reading journal, and then, just kind of taking a tally over how many I need to print out. And I knew this was already going to be a bit of a challenge for this title page here. I had meant to cut these smaller. Normally I do 4.5 centimeters, I think. And I wanted to only do 3.5 centimeters for the cover page here, but I completely forgot to change the sizing, and I printed all of the book covers the same size. So I had to squish them in. I'm honestly surprised that I even got them all in, because as you heard in the intro, I read 15 books in the third quarter of 2024, which is unreal. Especially again that my reading goal for the entire year is 24. I do go ahead and update the beginning collection pages at the end of this video. I go ahead and update those, and I'm actually only one book away from my goal, but one book away from my goal as of Q3. But now I've definitely read more than my 24 book reading goal, and I have to add in another page for the book covers, but I'll show you that when we get there. But this is my cover page. I will go in with you guys at the end to fill out the bottom right hand corner there over my different stats for the month, because these are the only stats that I really kind of keep track of over what do I keep track of? The pages read, the hours listened, and the days that I read, as well as physical, audiobook, or ebook, and then what I rated it. But I went in last there with the stickers, and I'm using 4 Bears Stickers Club's 4 Bears Sticker Club stickers, and you can find some details about them in the description box as well. But so moving on to my first spread, you'll see that I am doing only photos. Well, at least for right now, you see that I'm only using photos, and that's how I do my reading journals, because as I mentioned, I suck at English. I am a math girly, as I know I mention in each one of my reading journal videos, but I'm a math girly, so I get intimidated to, well, let me just take a drink because my throat is getting dry and I'm only, 5 minutes in. But anyway, so I used to get like pretty overwhelmed if I like thinking of a reading journal and I would have to go in and write a huge paragraph over what I read about and my thoughts and feelings of said book. And that would kind of, deter me from doing a reading journal at all, because it's what a lot of people that I see on TikTok do. I don't see a lot of people do this type of reading journal, like memory keeping essentially of said book. A lot of folks do their thoughts and feelings, and that's fantastic. And something that I wish I was better at. But because I do a lot of my reading are audiobooks, that it's hard for me to take notes throughout the book, which is something that I've always wanted to do, but I generally read my audiobooks when I'm driving, and I can't really write down my thoughts and feelings after each paragraph or after something happens. So that's why I'm not, it's another reason why I don't write my thoughts and feelings about each book that I read. It is something that I would want to do, but again, it's not something that I'm good at, and that's totally fine. And I have no shame in that. It's just not something that I'm great at. And maybe when I have more time to read physical books, maybe on my physical books, it's something that I can do. But for right now, it's difficult during audiobooks. But if you have any tips and tricks, I do, favorite some things in the audiobooks when I'm listening to them, but then it's the fact that I have to go back and view all of my little pages and quotes that I've saved. And it's just, again, it's not something that I do because I really enjoy doing these types of spreads of all pictures. And I kind of tell the story. Look how cute they are. But yeah, no, I love to kind of tell the story through photos. And it's something that I, again, just really enjoy. I love being able to kind of put it together. Sometimes I do it, to balance out the pages, but sometimes I like to put the books in a certain, or put the photos in a certain way so that, again, it kind of tells a story. And the point of these photos is to also pick out things that kind of happened within that book that makes this book stand out. Because I gotta be honest with you, I read a lot of books, not similar plots and storylines, but I mean, most like romance books do have very similar plots and storylines. So it's hard for me to determine which happened in which book, at least the fine details. But for the most part, I can kind of tell, a little bit of what happens in each book, but I'm not that great. I'm really not. I kind of forget about the book as soon as I read it, honestly. Like it's maybe not as soon as I read it, but give me a week and I'm like, what just happened? But I also listen to my books back to back. So as soon as I finish a book, I jump right into the next one. So I don't have a lot of time to kind of sit and think over my thoughts and feelings over what happened in that book. But for the most part, I kind of remember what happens in books, but I don't know fine details. And when I watch some TikTokers and other reading journal folks here and booktube people on YouTube, it's very impressive how much they're able to kind of reiterate what happened. It's something I've always admired, but it's just something that I'm not good at. And again, that's fine, and I'm okay with that. But so I'm doing I read all of the most of the Dreamland, what's it called? The Dreamland series. I read Fine Print in the second quarter, and then here I finished. Oh no, I think I actually read it in the first quarter.
I read it in the first quarter because I was annoyed that only the fine print was available on audiobook and the other two weren't available yet. But then I realized partway through the year that terms and conditions and final offer were then, available on Audible, and I finished listening to them, and I really enjoyed the series. But I also am a sucker for a billionaire romance. I think it's one of my, I think it's got to be my favorite like trope, I guess. Because as soon as I know that it's a billionaire romance, I have to read it. I love reading them. I did enjoy the Twisted series. I didn't love Twisted Games, the first one, but I did really enjoy the next three. And I did really enjoy these three books in the Dreamland Billionaire series. I believe I rated, so Terms and Conditions was the spread I did before, which I rated 4 stars. And then the final offer, the last one, I rated 5 stars. This one, I was hooked right from the beginning, and I was really, as much as the Cal, I think, the guy, as much as he struggled with his mental health and addiction, I was rooting for him the whole time. And I think because he was very aware and just kind of how he perceived himself with the addiction, it's something that he wanted to beat. He just didn't know how. And I think that it was it was a really good book. And I think that the ones that kind of are really good generally talk about real life scenarios and that are not so like out there, like non-believable. I do like when books touch on, real life scenarios and just real life instances and that sort of thing. But so I did really enjoy Final Offer. I rated that one 5 stars. And I read it really quickly. It was from July 11th to July 22nd. I read that book really quick. And the next spread that I'm doing, I remember reading this book when we would do a lot of our camping trips, because I read it on my Kindle, because I realized that I do own this physical copy of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. I do own the physical copy, but I realized that they are also on Kindle Unlimited. So I thought it was easier to read it on Kindle, especially because we went traveling a lot in our camper to different provincial parks and, that sort of thing. So it was much easier to read on my Kindle than to bring the physical book. And I also didn't want the physical book to get damaged, because I'm trying to go to different thrift stores and such to pick up the quote unquote original book covers. They're definitely not the original book covers, but the ones that I kind of remember as a kid. I was gifted these books as a Christmas present one year, but because I never read them when I was a kid, I feel like I gave them away, which obviously I'm kicking myself now, but it is what it is. But now that I'm reading them, I'm really enjoying the series. I finished this book. This took me a long time to read, but again, I was on a romance kick, and this one's just not at that romance level yet. But I started reading it March 20th, and then I didn't finish reading it till July 27th. But I read the last, want to say 3/4 of the book over the summertime. So that makes me happy that I was able to finish it relatively quickly once I actually committed to finish reading it. It didn't take me that long, and I really enjoyed this book. It also helped that I have watched this movie. I watched this movie with my son because I first put on the first Harry Potter at the beginning of my maternity leave, and he really enjoyed it, and he always called it, "Let's put on the wizard, let's put on the wizard." So, we watched the first 3 movies, but I realized that I didn't want to continue watching the movies until I had read the books, so I waited. So I'm not watching the next movies until I read the books, and I haven't started the next one yet. I think the next one is Goblet of Fire. I think so. Could be very wrong, because my Harry Potter knowledge is not the best, but I believe that's the next one. Could be very wrong. But anyways, I haven't started it yet, but I do know that all of them are on Kindle Unlimited, and I will read them because I did really enjoy where this one left off. And But I'm struggling because I'm also trying to start the Throne of Glass series, and to me, reading 2 fantasy series at the same time just kind of gets me a little just nervous. But see here, so I jump back because I failed to put the rating and the time that I read the books on the spread. So I kind of just jump back here quickly to say that, what I read or what I rated Final Offer, which I already mentioned. And then the Harry Potter and Prisoner of Azkaban, I rated 4 stars. And again, it took me from March 20th to July 27th to finish reading it. But I just wanted to go ahead and add those into the spread as well. And then jumping to the next book that I read, which was an audiobook, of course. And this one I read in 6 days from August 14th to August 20th. And this one was my first Abby Jimenez book. And I adored this book so much. This book was so real feeling, so touching on what I mentioned before over the fact of, real case scenarios. And she mentions and represents mental health so perfectly in her books. Her books are truly masterpieces in my opinion. Do I remember all the details that happen in this book? Absolutely not. But again, that's the whole purpose as to why I put these photos all together, to kind of help remind myself over kind of what happened. But again, I really enjoyed this book a lot. I did go ahead and read another one of her books that I don't do in today's video, but as I mentioned earlier, this is going to be a 2-part video because, again, 15 books. And I think there's out of the 15, there would be 10 spreads. And that's just way too many to put in one video, considering I'm pretty sure this video is about 30 minutes. So yeah, it's just too much, but this is the second last spread in this setup. But this is part of your world. And again, I adored this book so much. Let's see if I remember their names. I think Daniel and Alexis, I think. And, he owns a, not a motel, but a cabin, Airbnb type thing. And she is a doctor in the city. And it is just, obviously, as you can tell from part of your world, they live in 2 separate worlds, and it's, about bringing their worlds together. And I just think that such a beautiful book. And at first, the ending was a little nerve-wracking for me, only because they kind of threw in a trope that I'm not the biggest fan of, but they did it, she did it so well. I can't handle how good these books are. I do mention that I do read another one of her books, Yours Truly, that you'll see in the second part of the video, or will come out later. But I just think that her writing and the plot of her books and how the development of her characters are just next level, in my opinion. So I did rate this 5 stars, and again, I read it from August 14th to August 20th. And I used these little campfire and farm style stickers. And I do try to match the stickers a little bit to the book, or the colorings either to the photos that I'm adding in, or I match it to the title of the book, the book cover, sorry. So going into the last spread of today's video, and then I will jump back and fill out the beginning collections part of my reading journal. But the last book spread is for Mile High, which is a part of the Windy City series. And I loved this series so much. Again, it's another billionaire series, and I've read them all so far. I know number 5 is coming out in the new year, and I can't wait for it. And so Mile High, I do kind of remember what this one's about. I remember, but you know what I mean. This one is of a hockey player, and the Xanders. Xanders is a hockey player, and Stevie is the flight attendant on his like team's airplane. And this one is so good. This one, in my opinion, is the weakest of the series, but still really good. Rated at 4 stars. And the only thing that's confusing about this book as a person that lives in Ontario, Canada, is the fact of it's a hockey team that is called the Raptors, which is very misleading for me because if you're not aware, we have something called the Toronto Raptors that is a basketball team. So this, took a while to kind of get used to that every time they mentioned the Raptors, it wasn't talking about a basketball team. They were talking about a hockey team. But honestly, that's the only downfall of this book, really. And it's funny that like I did rate it the lowest of the rest of the series, not with it being the first book that I read, but it was so good. And then I did something that I don't normally do where I wrote down the title on the spread like directly instead of using craft paper. And I tried to kind of mimic the way that the title is written on the cover of the book, which I actually really enjoyed how I did that. But I apologize for the lighting changing slightly. I did record this during the day, and as you see, the sun is shining, and I'm pretty sure it was cloudy, so you'd probably see the sun coming and going a little bit. But that's the reason for the colors kind of changing. I go back into my sticker organization because I don't love the books, or I don't love the stickers that I chose. So I kind of went back in to find different ones, and I ended up finding these tiger ones that are blue just to match the spread, as well as some dog ones because Stevie, she does a lot of volunteer work at a dog shelter that's close to her house that makes her really happy. And so that's why I wanted to kind of include the dogs to, again, remind myself a little bit of what it's about and of little small details that happen in the book. But this is the final spread, and I really enjoy how this one came out. I had a vision that I wanted it, like all the photos, to be around the edges once I kind of started to see the layout, and then, put the title in the middle, and I really enjoyed how that one came out. But jumping right into, as soon as that's over, jumping right into the collection spreads at the beginning of my reading journal, and that is first writing down my reading goal or filling out my reading goal. And I just went ahead and indicated that I did read up all the way to 25 books so far. I do a little bit kind of back and forth over updating this journal based on where I'm at today versus, only for the third quarter stuff. But for the most part, I update it for where I'm at today so that I don't have to worry about updating as much for the next video. So I'm updating. I didn't do anything in the yearly stats. I'll do that after. And then this is the days read and my hopefuls. I haven't read any of my hopefuls, but that's okay. And I'm just updating the days read, and I do update all the way until the end of October. I just didn't do anything in November just yet. And then I put a box over the days that I finished a book, and I'll probably go through and make sure in my final wrap-up video when I do the fourth quarter that, my boxes and stuff align with how many books I read. And then quickly there in my physical library, I just wrote off the fact that I read Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Again, although I read it on my Kindle, I still read one of the physical copy books that I own. So I wanted to mark that off. And then I go ahead and add all of the books that I've read so far. And I've read more after Sweet Talk. So again, I will have to do a little bit of a flip out there to indicate the other books that I've read. And that one I updated all the way until what I've kind of read. That's what I've read up until the end of this quarter. So that's exciting. A little bit of a preview over the spreads you'll see in the next part of this video. When that comes out, I haven't recorded it yet, so bear with me. And now I'm just updating my series tracker, which the Part of Your World series, which I still have one book left. Love Lines, which are just cute little audiobooks on obviously on audio that are, who are they from? Oh, Cara Bastone. I'm really liking her books. And then the Thousand Broken Pieces and the Runeus. I don't know how to, the Runeus Love Trilogy. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say that, but it's my kind of first attempt at dark romance. And I wasn't the biggest fan of the book because I started Butcher and Blackbird, but yeah. So we'll see how I feel about that one. And now I'm just updating the stats of the third quarter before I take you back to, my face, kind of back in time a little bit to to do my little bit of my outro here. But I read 66 days out of 91. I read 538 pages. I listened to 118 hours, 45 minutes of books, 13 audiobooks, 2 ebooks. I've rated 5 5-star books, 2 4.5 stars, 4 4 stars, 2 3.5 stars, and 2 3 stars. So here I'm just quickly showing you a little bit of the spreads you'll see in the next part. And then I'm going to take you back to my face to say goodbye.
I hope you enjoyed today's video. I always love diving into my reading journal. I know that it's a popular video on my channel. Most of you folks love my reading journal updates because, there's other fellow readers that do not read as quickly as others that can get through 100+ books in a year. My goal was very realistic, 24 books, which equals two books a month. I, achieved that, and I'm very proud of that. I'm really happy with how all of these spreads turned out. I cannot wait to dive into the next half of the of these spreads. I did film this over a few days. And again, Ana Luisa, you don't want to miss out on those deals. Again, act fast. And, again, they make the perfect gift. I'm sorry, I just can't stop touching them. I love them. Again, I feel very confident in them, and I cannot wait to get a few more pieces myself. Again, I want to stack some more necklaces because I love that look. And yeah. Oh, silly me. Check out the link in my description so that you don't miss out on those deals. But I want to thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, I hope you like, comment, share, subscribe, all of the things. It means so much to me and helps this channel grow. And I'll see you again very soon. Bye.